What up, though? Welcome to another episode of 17 Winners Podcast with your brother Mike X. I'm doing something a little different this time. I'm working on a series. I don't think I have released any of the recorded episodes from the series, so this series is going to be specifically targeted at things going on in Michigan in and around the space of the criminal legal justice realm. That being said, one of the buzzwords of the day or of the times is CVI work, which is community violence interruption or intervention or crime and violence interruption or whatever way you define it. Most people call it community violence intervention, but today I have I would call an expert on the topic, at least when it comes to what's going on here in the Lansing area. And so today's episode, we're going to be talking about the impact of formerly incarcerated on CVI work. That being said, y'all welcome. Y'all know him. Welcome my brother, Sidney Black, to the conversation.
What's good with y'all?
So I want to get started. The first question that I have for you, bro, is, or it's not even a question. I want you to kind of introduce yourself to the audience. They've seen you on prior podcasts, but never on this specific subject. We talked about like our case. Today, introduce them to you in your professional capacity.
Okay. Well, my name is Sidney Black. I am the lead neighborhood change agent for Advanced Peace Lansing. We go into the community. We take youth offenders mostly, but we take them of all ages of gun violence. Those that have been victim of gun violence, those that are committing gun violence, those that have walk around with guns, carry guns, get caught with guns. And we try to, change what they're doing, change their mindset, get them in a different mental space, help them achieve different goals than trying to use the guns and stuff that they're used to using in every single day in violence.
So to those who don't know, explain what Advanced Peace is and like what you, I guess, how y'all work.
Right. Advanced Peace is a nationally known program. We're in a bunch of different states, different cities. We pretty much, our structure is based upon taking gun violence offenders and those that commit gun violent crimes and gun situations, even those that are caught or not caught. And we pretty much mentor them. We mentor them to be able to, I'm trying to, explain it to you without saying too much, because, we do have our
levels of confidentiality.
Our level of confidentiality. So
for sure.
So we pretty much mentor them. We do different things like take them out of Lansing, let them see something different, let them see different things, different places, let them know that.
You call that transformational travel?
No, we call that excursions.
Okay.
We take them on excursions. A transformative travel is when they get to a level where they're like, all right, I'm ready to change and I don't want to beef with this particular organization or group of people.
Okay, so that's what. Okay, so I got a text message from Dr. Bogan, and he was saying that, man, we in Puerto Rico with two different sets right now.
Yeah.
The first day they was face off, and then the second, I think he had texted me on the third day. He was like, oh, yesterday it was pretty cool. So we making some headway. So that is the transformative travel when they all go together.
Where we take them outside of the country.
Oh,
okay. When you're outside the country, you don't have that much access to phones depending on where you go. They may take their phones from them. They don't have access to guns, weapons, all those things that they have access to at home. So we pretty much put them in a space where they have to deal with each other. Okay. And we have to deal with them as well. So, it's pretty much like a mediation.
Okay.
For the most part.
So now I have a question for you. My first question, and the question, I guess, to set the tone of this conversation is, the solution to community violence is. Can you answer that question? Or can you finish that statement, I mean?
Yes. The answer to community violence. Or the solution to community violence. The solution to community violence is being able to put people in position to obtain things that they either didn't have, believe that they can't have, or don't know how to get.
Okay.
From my experience, a lot of people, they pretty much are committee needs to. A lot of people do it, first of all, because of lack of money, lack of funds. From my experience with the youth, they get into this mindset where, well, you know how it is, bro. When you broke, you don't have a clear mindset. You know, you're angry at everything. The day doesn't seem correct. You wake up that morning and you're trying to fill some type of void because you feel that void.
Right.
And when you wake up with that mindset, man, it could be anything that can pull you left or right. So what we've learned is individuals that are constantly in community violence and committing violent acts in the community, they are pretty much lacking a whole bunch of fundamental things that normal people on a regular daily basis have, that don't even think about or in a good mood, or, you know, they have a plan, they have a goal.
Okay.
So we have to fill those holes with people, yo. Outside of that, or to go deeper into that, we also have to figure out where did the problem start? You know,
okay.
Because what is the root of the problem? What's the root of the issue? A lot of groups out here that are beefing with each other, it could be something as small as they had sex with the same female. You know, they didn't even like, or didn't even know a person that got killed, but don't like his homeboy or his friend. So since y'all cool and he got killed, I get to talk stuff to you about it. You know what I'm saying? And drag you in. So we have to find a way to conquer that. That is the biggest issue right now, trolling.
Yeah, no, I can see that.
You know what I'm saying? That's the biggest issue.
So I want to bring this to you, and it wasn't part of my program for today, but it is something that has been a conversation over the last week or so. Mm-hmm. For right now, I don't think I want to say who it is, mm-hmm. but somebody that is intrinsically connected to the programs that we support. The Peckham Go program, mm-hmm. Advanced Peace, and inside of the circle of the, the collaborative we were doing to catch young people that may go to one program and then connect to another. Mm-hmm. When, I don't even know if I want to say the young man's name, so I won't. Little bro that died, mm-hmm. What was that, 2 weeks ago now?
Yep.
It was said that we dropped the ball mm-hmm. on him. Mm-hmm. And we were essentially, I don't want to say like accused, but we essentially were left with supposedly holding the weight of that because we weren't able to prevent that thing from happening. Mm-hmm. Basically, Peckham Go and Advanced Peace and Hood to Hood mm-hmm. weren't able to encompass this young man enough to prevent that thing from happening to him and from that other young man who was 17 years old from being the perpetrator. Mm-hmm. I guess first, what are your thoughts on that concept?
First and foremost, my very first initial thought is, how can someone say that anyone dropped the ball when those individuals aren't even on the court? First and foremost, it's a tough job. It's a tough line of work because at the end of the day, we can guide, but we can't control.
Right.
You know, so we are here to give guidance. You know, we are here to plant seeds. We're here to water seeds. So it's always going to be some that go through the process and receive the process in a certain way where they may not ever have any more issues in life. And there's going to be some that's going to have issues along the way, and it's going to eventually get to a place where they're cool and they're safe in life. And there's going to be some where, you know, while they're trying to get there, they're gonna struggle more than others, man, and they may not make it to the point where, I understand exactly what y'all trying to give me. So it's not. I don't look at it as any one of us dropped the ball. Because if you're trying, you're not dropping the ball. The ball is constantly in our hands. This is a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week job. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Every single year. Mm-hmm. So I don't believe that we dropped the ball, man.
So my initial thoughts on that was kind of similar to what you said. First and foremost, if you ain't in the streets, what you talking for? Mm-hmm. Why you even having conversation about what's going on in the streets as far as getting in between these young men? First and foremost, what Advanced Peace does, what y'all do, stands out on another level because y'all go right directly into the fire of this thing, right? But even besides that, my other thought was that I believe is white privilege speaking. Mind you, we're talking about a middle-aged white man who had this comment to say. Right. He's a 40-something-year-old white man. So in his mind, all that needs to happen is they need to go through these programs and then their lives will change. Right. When the reality is these programs only last so long. It's only so many hours that they're with us. Right. And then they are back in the circumstances that they come from, with the influences that they have, with the challenges that they have, with everything else that they have going on in their lives. That how could these small Band-Aids of programs actually change the life of young people?
Yep. And I fully agree with you because, like you said, they gotta go back to their circumstance. They gotta go back home. A lot of them gotta go back to their parents if they have two parents. Right? You know what I'm saying? They might have a lot of
these programs are opportunities to get tools and position yourself differently, but it's not going to change your life. If I still have to go home to a crib that my mom is renting by herself, and she barely able to pay the rent. Yep. If I'm still going home to a neighborhood where they know where I live at.
Yep. That's the biggest thing. Because they got issues, they got problems, man. They got beef out here, man, and they gotta get a job.
They gotta
make money. You know what I'm saying? Like, they can't just go to McDonald's and work at the drive-through. Like, no, such and such coming through to get his burger. Like, you know what I'm saying? That goes to factory. That goes for anything, man. So the job, I hate when people talk like that because the job that we do, and that we have at hand, like, we have to be so strategic with how we do it and how we place these young men, these young women, and how we help them to keep them out the way, to keep them safe, to keep them focused, man. And for someone to say we dropped the ball is crazy.
That was crazy. But you said something in your initial thoughts, and I want to go back to that because I was actually at a webinar yesterday. I forgot to bring my notes out, but the webinar was the Michigan school-based CVI fund. It was discussing the $10 million that was allocated to CVI in the state of Michigan. It has to go through the school aid fund. Okay. Every CVI organization that is, and I'm saying this on this podcast, intending that I release it soon so that when the grants are opened up, y'all will be able to hear this and take advantage of it. But the CVI organizations have to go through the school aid fund in order to get access to this grant money. Right?
Yep.
In that conversation, and I'll probably have a conversation with this leader as well, another leader in CVI work said something that struck a chord to me. He said, and I don't know why I'm so particular with not using names, but I'll name them because it's not nothing like negative per se, but it was Zoe over at Force Detroit. Okay. And what he said was, these peacekeepers or these what you call yourself?
Neighborhood change agent.
Change agents have enough influence in the community that when they say no, it's a no. And to an extent, I felt that.
Yeah.
Because I do believe I have enough influence with certain young men that I can be like, nephew, no, don't go do that.
Right.
And they'll listen.
Right.
At the same time, that is a slippery slope, I believe, to step out there and say that we can tell these young men yes or no as to the next move that they make in the street.
Mm-hmm.
Because in saying something like that, you are also by default saying that you can tell them yeah.
Right. Right. Right.
And I think that leaves room for problems for us, formerly incarcerated specifically, when it comes to this work and the tension between CVI and police work, et cetera, et cetera. What you say to that?
I say that, you know, when we're right there in the situation and right there with them and in front of them, it's easy for them to accept us saying like, no, don't do that. You know what I'm saying? Chill. It ain't worth it. Let's go over here. Let's roll. But, you know, as soon as they by themselves or something, then they might get a call or something or see something on social media or something, you know what I'm saying? Like, they first instinct ain't to be like, man, let me call Unc real quick to see, you know, how to get up out of this.
Right.
You know, and that's what we have to instill in them. You know, but it takes time. It takes practice. It takes, you know, to do it over, and it takes repetition.
For sure.
So, yeah, to a certain extent, yeah, our nose, and we have that influence, you know. But, you know, it's not concrete. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, we should be thankful and grateful, and, you know, and everybody else involved should be thankful and grateful that we are able to get those initial no's through. You know, because I done been in a situation where you'd be like, no, you know, don't do it. Next thing you know, they like, man, you know, and it's on. Like, man, you ain't talking about nothing.
Right. Right. Because
so,
that's the real level of it.
Yeah,
it's
that's
like,
the real level.
Yeah, I may have a little influence while I'm there. But, like, I'm not controlling what they're doing in the street.
Right.
And that's a separation that we have to have because CVI work, and specifically the type of CVI work that you do with advanced peace, the lines can get blurred.
Absolutely.
So I guess let me ask you my real first question. Because I got some more stuff that just popped up into my head about CVI work because I recently just did an interview with Fox 47, and they were talking about gangs.
Okay.
And I want to have this conversation with Unc, so I ain't going to say his name on this yet because I want him to come here and we talk about it. But he uses the term gang a lot.
Okay.
I guess what's your stance on using the term gangs when referring to these young men that you're dealing with? Or do you see them as gangs? Like, I don't know, you dealing with them directly?
I don't see them as gangs.
Okay.
Honestly, when I talk to them, I use the word organization.
Okay.
Is what I use. Because a lot of the so-called gangs, you know, they're all under an organizational structure.
Okay.
So I use their organization, and I use organization because I also, as I'm talking to them, I'm also talking to them about a RICO.
Right.
As well.
Right.
So I don't use gang, I use organization with them. So that they see the seriousness of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're used to hearing gang. Gang. They, you know, they used to, you know, y'all a gang. Nah. Because if y'all go down and y'all get caught, they're going to look at y'all as an organization. So that's how I'm going to talk to y'all.
So my thing was, I don't like the terminology gang at all. I think that's a setup for RICO activity.
Absolutely.
And the reason I say that is because bro came to me and asked me about the gang violence in the city and that Advanced Peace had identified at least 10 gangs in Lansing. And I was like, whoa, man, that's dangerous as hell to be putting out there into the public's realm because I don't think that there are 10 gangs that exist in Lansing, first and foremost.
Right.
And then these days, especially when we're talking about the terrain of Lansing, Michigan, like this is more clique. This is a lot more akin to Oakland.
Absolutely.
Like this ain't no gang infested area. And none of these boys have what gangs require to be gangs. For you to be a gang, you have to have some level of organization. right? And that's what we don't have from our young people. These boys ain't got no organization. There's no order of or process of things happening. Even when we were young and we were involved in gang activity, that was the closest thing to gang activity that existed in Lansing. Gangster disciples, vice lords, right? Where there is a rule of thumb. Shit has to go a certain way. The gang has a certain level or size. Because we talking about groups of kids that ain't no more than 20 deep. That's us. Like if gang life were real in Lansing, we didn't represent it properly because we was beefing with other GDs. Except for we from the South Side or we from this clique on the South Side. And so I do not see any gang violence or gang problem. I don't see any gang problem, first of all. Second of all, I don't see violence from gang activity. Because even if there is gang activity in Lansing, I don't see them. They ain't the ones doing shit. It's these young niggas doing shit. And these young niggas ain't got no organization or no real process of doing nothing. It's just emotions.
It's emotion driven. So yeah, like you said, yo, it's pretty much clicks, yo. It's pretty much clicks, bro. The thing is, it's crazy because the way it's set up, they were all a lot of the young kids, they all cool at one point in time. Like how we
this is Lansing.
This is Lansing. So everybody is cool at one point in time when they were younger growing up, man. And it just be, we break off. Like when we were younger, they had the schoolboys over here. They had the guys that was skipping school and over there and might smoke weed or whatever. And then you got the guys that's, they in the streets. So when we got those sections, now it's just like, all right, they got 10 of y'all here, 15 of y'all here, 10, 20, 30, whatever.
Right.
So it's just a bunch of... It's
literally just a bunch of little cliques.
Yeah, and everybody was together at one point, and we like, no, we're going to take these 4, y'all 4 come with me. We get some more, y'all 5 come with me.
So that's why I feel like it's dangerous to be doing that, especially here in Lansing, because when I started this new Lansing movement, part of the starting of that movement was looking around at what's going on in the city. They're building a lot around the city. They are making plans for 10, 20 years down the line in the city. They're not looking at, what it looks like in 2026 in Lansing, Michigan. They're looking at 2046 and how they want the city to grow by that time, right? And part of that is the tough on the streets. I just seen on Facebook today they was talking about a brother who got arrested the other day, and in the comments on the one of these Lansing pages, it was like all type of lock him up and throw away the key rhetoric. And it was like, man, why this is an accurate depiction of what Lansing looks like. Like there is a heavy population of white and upper, quote unquote, upper class who realistically want to see niggas off they streets. They don't want you here.
Absolutely.
And they don't mind locking up kids forever because they're the riffraff. They have dehumanized human beings to the point where they don't even consider them people when it comes to locking them up. They was talking all type of stuff about locking this guy up for life because he got caught with a gun. Like, what the hell?
I was talking to a young man yesterday at Eastern at the high school. He taking himself out of Eastern and putting him and going to the hub to go online. So they wanted me to talk to him, so I pulled him in there, and I'm like, what's going on, man? He like, I just want to get up out of here. I think I'll be better online. Woo, 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 woo. But also he has a problem with touching stuff and taking stuff that's not his. So as I'm talking to him, right, and I'm like, hey, man, you do know that they'll take you away forever, yo. Like, they don't have no problem with that, yo. And I said, yo, the route that you going, yo, you taking, like, I was on your same progressive route. I said, yo, if I seen something and it looked attractive and I wanted it, yo, and I had the money, I just took it, bro. I said, yo, even if I was at work, if I had a job and it was something better than mine, I'll just take it, bro, because, like, what you gonna do?
Right.
And I said, I see your stature, yo, like, you ain't no hoe. You know what I'm saying? Like, I see you.
Yeah.
I said, but, yo, like, you're progressively getting worse and worse and worse, yo. And he's looking at me. I said, yo, I've only met you 3 times, and I know that about you. Ain't that true? He like, yeah. And he looked like he listening, but at the same time, like, a few hours later, he done snatched a vape.
Bro, because I still ain't got shit.
I still ain't got shit.
All that sound good, and you
I'm
right.
still broke.
But like, shit, I'm still got to get what I need.
Still got to get what I need. Yep, a few hours later, he took somebody vape. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but you said some real shit, bro.
You said some real shit, bro.
And one day that shit gonna come back.
Yep.
But like right now,
one day it is.
You ain't got nothing to change my life, man.
Absolutely.
And I don't want to hear that shit.
Absolutely.
So let me ask you this. How does lived experience shape the way formerly incarcerated leaders understand violence, conflict, and prevention?
Well, shit, we've been through it, you know. But it takes a certain type of person though, because you can go through it but still not have no answer, no clue of why, when, or what happened, or what started it, or anything.
Exactly.
So, you know, it takes a lot of self-reflection if you go through it. I believe that we had the best experience because, you know, we can actually break down and put stuff into pieces and actually, you know, answer some of these young men questions that they don't have.
So what experience in particular? Because the way this thing is shaping up in a lot of cities, CVI has become like a foggy mist. Everybody's kind of in there and claiming that they have what it takes to do it.
Right.
What is, I guess, what is a credible messenger to you?
Someone that's a problem solver. You had to be able to solve a problem, yo. It's a lot of people that have been incarcerated, formerly incarcerated, been through this, been in shootouts, been in style, been in all type of violent stuff, but they don't know how to solve a problem.
That's real.
You know, so like I was telling somebody the other day, like as fast as it takes you to think about what 1 + 1 is equal 2, that's how fast you have to solve a problem in certain situations.
Right.
So if you're not a problem solver either by nature or by experience, you have no place here. Literally, you have no place here. You just taking up somebody else's spot.
That's real. And that's an interesting take because I kind of went on a rant. I was irritated about something, and I got to talking shit about, man, if you ain't shot no motherfucking body, get your ass out the way because you don't even know you don't even know what's in his mind when it comes to going to shoot somebody. So, like, you don't know what you're talking about. But hearing you say that, what you just said kind of alters that perception because just because you done shot somebody don't mean you understand what it takes to deconstruct that and to unpack all of the emotion that got you there and those like base issues. So that's real. That's real. I can respect that. I still do believe that there has to be some level of, I did that shit though, right?
Yeah, it has to be. But like working with inside Advanced Peace, right? I've learned this because I used to have the same mindset of you have no experience, you can't tell me that you ain't experienced.
Right.
But working inside the Advanced Peace and the structure of it, and it takes like there's an individual that's never been in prison. You know, they don't have any violent crimes on their record, nothing of that sort. But they know how to solve problems. You know, they know how to listen. They know how to communicate. They know how to tap into resources. They know how to get it. They know how to make kids comfortable.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So they're needed.
Yeah.
You know, because every kid that is in our programs, all of them are not killers per se,
right,
or full-blown shooters, or whatever you want to label them to be, or whatever the outside want to label them to be.
Right.
You know, some of them are just, you know, lost and been with the homies. You know what I'm saying? Don't know the way out.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people that haven't caught cases were people that were with the homies and didn't know a way out. You know what I'm saying? Until they found a way out and got away from the homies, so they didn't end up going to prison.
Well, that's another thing that I identify here in Lansing when it comes to CVI work is somehow there's some level of like fragmentation, where it's like these kids are Advanced Peace type kids and these are Peckham go. It's like you
Yeah,
do understand it's the same crew,
that's
right?
a little crazy. Yeah, that's a little wild.
If it's 20 of them,
right,
6 of them at Advanced Peace and 3 of them at Peckham and
Yep.
5 of them in the street, like that's all one crew.
It's all one
They
crew.
all gonna be together, and like the ones that are in your programs might not even be the ones that end up being the shooter out of the crew. It might be them 5 that didn't come to no program that end up being the shooter because y'all preventing the other ones from being shooters, or we're preventing the other ones from being shooters.
Yep, absolutely. So it's crazy because it all works together without everybody working together.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, but it works, and I guess everybody should work together, but you know, it got to be right. It got to be right.
So talk about that. What does everybody working together? What type of ecosystem? What does that ecosystem look like?
It would look like everybody, because right now we got CVI in Lansing, and we have like some of them might deal with people that only carry guns, gun shooters, and some that might deal with those that I deal with them. I get them jobs, or I deal with the ones that aren't doing good in school. We got different programs for different things. So if we all come together and figure out like some type of structure to, all right, I got this kid in my program, but he's needing these, and let me go ahead and tap him in and push him over there. It might be another program for them to do and add something to their plate, but at the same time, it's something added to their plate that's positive.
Right.
If
I mean, part of keeping me out of trouble was being busy.
Absolutely.
Having some shit to do.
Absolutely. So if I can tap into Peckham Go and be like, yo, what you got over there, this kid in Advanced Peace need, I'm gonna hit you and be like, whoa, go over there. If you got to hit Mikey 2-3, like, yo, look, I got this kid that's good with his hands, and he tap in with him.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. But the lines of communication got to be open. The full awareness and willingness to help these kids has to be there. And everybody like legit has to work together, man, to make it happen.
Yeah, for sure. I'm glad you said that because I sure plan on like bullying Advanced Peace into being down with hood to hood also.
For sure.
Last summer we actually came together and we did some pretty good work. The few times we did get out there in the community, Advanced Peace definitely got out there with outreach with me, and I'm planning a summer of this stuff this year.
Okay.
So that's gonna be cool. Can you talk a little bit about like navigating the tension between being close to the pain and also being expected to operate as a professional change agent?
Oof. It gets difficult. Because at the same time, like, I've been through so much in different aspects and different, you know, street stuff, prison stuff, life stuff, that I can sometimes myself get pulled back into certain things. I need somebody to pull my coattails sometime. So, you know, dealing with going back into the trenches of it, coming out of it mentally and being able to look at it like, all right, I don't want this anymore for myself, but also putting myself back into it, it sometimes brings back up different feelings and different stuff, which it has to in order to relate and get through to these kids to you.
Yeah.
You know, but it also gets difficult when you see it and they don't want to use it. And you tell them, and you see what's at the end of the road, and you just want to be like, yo, like don't, dog, like, no, just come this way, bro.
Yeah.
You know, so it becomes difficult, man, because we become close to them, we become attached to them, and we want to see them do well, we want to see them do good, and you know, it could bring you down sometimes.
Yeah, for
you
sure.
know? And it's like I said, it's 24/7 job, so it's tough on your home life, it's tough on your personal, it's tough on everything.
Right, no, for sure, and especially when I was having a conversation with somebody the other day, and I was telling them like, the ops don't know the difference when they see so and so in your truck. All they know is I seen dog in that one truck, and next time I see that truck, I'm hitting that truck, right? Like, so
Yep.
now you stuck in the mix of damn near in the middle of a beef because you're riding with their ops.
Absolutely.
Trying to diffuse a situation and have been seen out in public with them. So, like, I can't, and that's part of the reason why I don't do the advanced peace level of outreach, because I don't know that I can handle that level.
Yeah, it gets sticky, man. It gets sticky. Luckily, we've been entrenched with these men and these women a lot. So they know us, they know our vehicles, they know our face. We done been in places where they getting ready to pop off and they see our face and they be like, when they turn around and they walk away and they, and it's over, man. And it's it's a blessing to see that. It lets you know that what you're doing is working, even if they're not all the way there. They know that you being around makes them think twice.
Right.
About doing it. Them seeing your face makes them think twice. Right? Like, you know what, man? Y'all lucky, man. I remember when we went on out there to East Lansing just to make sure everything was good to fellow, just to see him, like, hey, man, y'all chill. You can go out there like, man, the program out here, man. Hey, man, y'all see, man, the program over there, man. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just sitting, I'm laughing, and I'm looking at them, man, and it's 20, 21-year-olds, man, they grown men.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, they ain't gotta do that. They could do what they want to do, man, but they see us and they like, damn, man, they go to program, man. I don't want to let them down.
That's real.
That's real.
That's real. And they don't want to let us down.
And they
That's
don't
what
want
it
to let
is.
us down.
They don't want to let the OGs down.
Yeah, because they know we're going to be like, man, what happened?
That's
what the
how
fuck happened,
valuable
man?
the impact of men on these young men is also. I think that's an aspect that is not often highlighted, is like black men being back in our community with our black boys is a big part of why this thing works.
Absolutely.
More than anything else, just having leadership from black men back in the community and having black men that actually care and are willing to like reach out matters, I think.
Because they don't have it, bro. They literally don't have it. Like, a lot of them, shit, man, you see me go through it.
Shit, we
like,
didn't have it after your dad died. You were.
Yeah, I was just searching. I was out here doing what I do. And then having doing 14 years in prison and having a son going in, and he was 2 months old, and looking at him, he didn't have it.
Right.
Until I came home, and then it was so much of a struggle. So I can only imagine the amount of black men that have been locked up since the day that we was locked up, all the way up to current day.
Yep.
Right now.
Yep.
That were the fathers of the young men that we're mentoring now. It's like, dang, man.
No, for sure. For sure. I was just telling somebody that, like, when I went to prison, it's no coincidence that most of the prison yard was black men. We ran the yard to the point where it was damn near like a reverse racism, where if you were white, you were only allowed certain things.
Yep.
Black, you had free reign of the yard. And that is systemic. There's layers to that. Yeah, man. So what do you say about the influx of formerly incarcerated coming back home? Because we both been home 10 years, more than 10 years now. So when we were getting out, it wasn't so many people coming home or doing this work or none of that. But in these last 10 years, there has been an influx of formerly incarcerated hitting the block. How do you feel like that has related to CVI work?
I think it's a beautiful thing. I think that it is helping. I believe that I hope that they understand that they have a big responsibility coming out now. Because when me and you first came home, we didn't have these platforms that we have right now.
That's
and if we did have them, we didn't have the knowledge of them,
right?
That they existed. So, as much as it is right now, I hope that the men that are coming home are really, down for it, because there's a space for them. It's a space there. You can find your way into this realm and everything. You know what I'm saying? But the ones that are coming home now, like, they're going to be faced with, like, y'all going to have to keep this momentum up with us. Because at the end of the day, like, depending on how you're funded, it can be taken away. You know what I'm saying? So it's a big responsibility. You know, not only is it the lives of young men and older men and women, but it's the livelihood of the people that work the program as well.
I didn't even think about that. So what does accountability look like inside CVI? When people doing the work carry their own histories of harm. So like you were saying earlier about what you've been through, what is accountability for these lives and for like the job, and what does that look like?
That looks like stress. It looks like
Look
stress.
like stress?
It looks like stress, bro. It looks like stress. You know, being accountable means, you know, looking at your own flaws, accepting responsibility. You know, so when we accept responsibilities for, you know, these young men and women and older men and women that we're bringing into the program, we're pretty much accepting responsibility also for their parents, you know, for their brother and sister, you know, all those things. So it's a heavy weight, you know. So the accountability is high.
Where does healing go inside of that? I recently in August went through Black intensive grounding training with mass liberation, and it was a large focus of the training that was on the healing aspect.
Yep.
Especially having been incarcerated as long as we have, like healing was a big part of the focus for that thing. How does that fit into the way that you do CVI work?
Healing comes in the form of therapy. For me, you know, I work for Advanced Peace, but we're under, you know, Michigan Public Health Institute.
Okay.
So, you know, we have therapists on there. We have our therapist, Jay, you know.
Okay.
We ask ourselves every day when we go to check-ins, you know, where are you at? You know, what's your highs, what's your lows? You know, on a scale of 1 to 10, anything below a 5, we got to call Jay. You know, get the therapist on the line. We need to talk. We need to figure this out. We need to hatch it out. So that's what healing, the actual action of healing looks like. The process of healing is kind of difficult because, you know, this is our job, but, you know, we have our outside job and our outside stressors. So when this becomes more than a job is when you get close to these individuals and you start pouring into them, and if they don't get it, you know, it's just like, damn.
Right.
And, you know, you feel it. You know what I'm saying? You can't not feel it because you care.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's what it looks like, man. It looks like stress, bro.
So I got 2 more questions for you before we get up out of here, man. In your view, what structures or policies need to change to fully unlock leadership potential? Or not necessarily even leadership potential, just to unlock the real capacity for CVI work? Like, what needs to change in government and policy and whatever?
I believe that there needs to be more of us in position of power. It needs to be less, I know you, so you're in. Yep. There needs to be more of you bring this to the table and you also have evidence of this working.
Okay.
To be able to be put in a position to actually make those changes. As far as like government-wise and government policy, they need to realize, in my opinion, that they probably need us more than ever before. They need our opinions. They need our views. They need our structures. They need our programming. You know, they need us maybe even more than we possibly need them to get things started.
Right.
And to get through. And I think that once they realize that, maybe some things will start changing more.
I recently heard on a podcast brothers say, man, if I was to put it in the terms of like computer science, there's a virus inside of the computer, and it is a system generated virus, means the virus is generated by the computer. It makes more sense to attack or fix the computer that's generating the virus than to continue to just knock down the virus every time it pops up. And I think that relates, and he was relating that to CVI work, in that at the end of the day, although CVI work has been proven to be a lot more effective than a lot of other things, the problem that keeps CVI work relevant is a systemic problem.
Okay.
And the system needs to be changed, and therefore CVI would need to be used. That being said, though, my last question for you is a big one, and I guess it's the last big question before I close us out, and that is CVI and police. What's your stance on that? What's your perspective on that, as far as like working with the police, exchanges of information, that type of thing?
I believe that it definitely has its advantages and disadvantages. One of the advantages is that when something pops off, they have no problem with letting us in to talk to the families. You know, because when something pops off like that, like a shooting or something, everything's at an all-time high. You know, and I believe that they realize that they are more gasoline than water on those scenes, and they allow us to have a little bit of access to talk to families. The disadvantage part is, and it's kind of tough to say, but I'm gonna keep it real. Like,
Okay.
The disadvantage part is, at the end of the day, what we do doesn't add up to them making their money or them being paid or et cetera, because at the end of the day, it is good that numbers are down and violence is down and all these things are down. But like I know, they got numbers too. You know, so it's always going to be a give and take. It's going to be some people in the department that are all for what we're doing, that want to see young black men and young black women survive and get out of situations and, stop the violence. There's others that, may look at it like, hey, that's my paycheck right there. So it's always going to be that give and take and discord when it comes to dealing with police and CVI organizations. But I believe the relationship has gotten better than what it was. I firmly believe that information should not be transferred
Back to the police?
back to the police.
So it should be one way?
I believe it should be one way at all times, because we're not here and into locking people up,
Right.
and then the kids up. We're here to save lives.
Real
You know what I'm
shit.
saying? And I don't believe that locking the kid up and locking anybody up is saving somebody's life.
Real
I
shit.
believe it's a different route. So I believe the communication, as far as exchanging information, should always be one way.
That being said, I appreciate you pulling up to 17 Winners Podcast, my
Yes,
brother.
sir, my brother.
No ratting. We
ratting.
ain't doing no police
And
shit.
that was not a gang handshake. That was an organizational handshake.
Yeah, for sure. I'll see y'all next time. Free to real.